mayor's conference is a mayor's.
That's what the trustees I talked to are calling this. They say the news took them by surprise, and now they're talking to legal counsel to figure out their next.
Is the clock finally running out for Mayor Tiffany Henyard? The embattled mayor of Dolton, Illinois has been in hot water for a while, but things have recently gone from bad to worse. It seems her days of living like a queen on the taxpayer's dime are numbered. Much has been said about Henyard's lavish lifestyle, extravagant spending, and questionable leadership, but now the stakes have been raised. Rumors are swirling that an arrest warrant is being prepared for her, and who can she blame for all of this? Her right-hand man, of course, who has allegedly turned on her in the most spectacular fashion.
Sir, you didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
Let's set the scene. Tiffany Henyard, the so-called super mayor of Dolton, a village with just over 20,000 people, has been living large as if she's ruling over a major metropolis. We're talking first-class flights, stays at luxury hotels like the Four Seasons, and dining at high-end restaurants, all paid for with taxpayer money. Recently, reports surfaced about a trip to Austin, Texas that cost a staggering $47,000. And this wasn't an isolated incident. These extravagant trips, along with other questionable expenses, have pushed Dolton's debt into the millions. Who does she think she is? A celebrity on a world tour? Meanwhile, the residents of Dolton are left to deal with a crumbling local government and skyrocketing costs.
Everybody, is the reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is.
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for.
The real drama begins with Henyard's former chief assistant, Keith Freeman. Once her closest confidant, Freeman is now at the center of this unraveling scandal. He wasn't just an aide, he was her co-conspirator in siphoning money from the town's budget for their own personal gain. It was Freeman who, alongside Henyard, orchestrated the lease of 3 luxury SUVs costing over $374,000. It was Freeman who managed to get Dolton taxpayers to foot the bill for tens of thousands in lavish expenses. And for a while, it seemed like this dynamic duo had the town under their thumb. However, once the feds got involved, everything changed. Facing his own set of charges, including bankruptcy fraud, Freeman has reportedly turned state's witness, spilling everything he knows about Henyard's financial dealings. The mayor's house of cards is crumbling, and it's her right-hand man who seems to be pulling the plug. Freeman has been cooperating with federal investigators, and whispers suggest he has handed over some damning evidence. As if that wasn't bad enough, his betrayal doesn't end there. He's now painting himself as the victim, claiming Henyard was the mastermind who coerced him into these illegal activities. Talk about flipping the script.
That the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're...
What makes this even juicier is how Henyard is handling this massive betrayal. She's not going down without a fight. In recent public appearances, she's been on the defensive, trying to cast herself as a naive leader who was misled by those around her. "I was manipulated," she claims. "I relied on Freeman to guide me on how things were done in Dolton." Really, Tiffany? After 8 years as a trustee, you didn't know how the town's finances were supposed to be managed? That's a hard sell, especially when you consider the timeline of her own political career. She isn't new to this game. She's been playing it for years. So when she claims she had no idea what was going on, it sounds like she's just trying to pass the buck. But can she really get away with it this time?
Who would make a one-day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon? And the main thing is,
for a moment, it seemed like she might. Henyard's brash style and unyielding defiance have gotten her out of tight spots before. She's known for dismissing accusations and even firing back at her critics in public meetings. Remember when she told a room full of Dolton cops to stop playing these silly games during a power struggle with her police department? This is a woman who's used to having the last word. She's even been vocal about running for another term, as if her current predicament isn't enough drama for one lifetime. But now, with Freeman singing like a canary to the feds, Henyard's prospects are looking bleak.
New developments in South suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial.
It's not just Freeman who's turning against her. Rumors are swirling that other close associates, those who once benefited from her reign, are also beginning to jump ship. Some are reportedly cooperating with authorities, hoping to cut their own deals in exchange for information. Henyard's once loyal inner circle is crumbling, and the feds are closing in. Insiders suggest that the FBI already has a mountain of evidence against her, enough to bring her down for good. An arrest seems imminent, and if that happens, Dalton might finally get some answers and justice.
But those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing.
But how did it come to this? How did Tiffany Henyard, once seen as a transformative figure for Dalton, end up in such a dire situation? Let's take a closer look at the rise and fall of Dalton's most infamous mayor. Elected in 2021, Henyard was hailed as a breath of fresh air, the youngest and first female mayor of Dalton. She promised change and progress for the small village. But from the start, her tenure has been marked by controversy.
You guys had an awesome time on the backs of taxpayers, but what do we gain from any of these trips? We gained nothing.
Almost immediately, her financial decisions raised eyebrows. Lavish spending on out-of-town trips was one thing, but the lack of transparency was quite another. Reports of missing financial records, suspicious transactions, and outright refusals to comply with transparency laws started piling up. The village of Dalton wasn't just being poorly managed, it was being run into the ground. Trustees like Tammy Brown repeatedly raised concerns, but their voices were drowned out by Henyard's iron-fisted control. She wasn't just a mayor, she was the Queen of Dalton, and anyone who dared to cross her was swiftly dealt with.
Well, Mr. Lacey is absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt.
Henyard didn't just misuse taxpayer money, she wielded the police department like her own personal army. Numerous reports surfaced of her using law enforcement to intimidate critics and opponents. Under her rule, police costs jumped by 21%, with some officers receiving more in overtime pay than their actual salaries. And why not? The police, after all, were her enforcers. It wasn't long before she earned the nickname Dalton's Dictator, a title she seemed to embrace rather than shy away from. It's even said that she once hired a DJ to demand respect from her constituents at a town meeting, blasting Rihanna's "Bataos Better Have My Money." Talk about nerve.
I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate.
And it didn't stop there. Henyard allegedly tried to launder stolen money through her own charitable organization, Tiffany Henyard Cares. This so-called charity, which supposedly helps cancer patients, came under fire for failing to file required financial disclosures. The Illinois Attorney General even threatened legal action against it. Yet that didn't stop Henyard from funneling thousands of dollars into it using public funds. Even worse, she used township employees and resources to support the charity. And let's not forget the bizarre episode where she proposed a law that would slash the township supervisor's salary by 90% if she lost her next election, a move many saw as a blatant attempt to rig the game in her favor.
Coming in, unfortunately, we knew it was going to be a little messy, but it's just something we felt important that had to be done, that should be done.
As more of Henyard's antics came to light, the village's financial health continued to deteriorate. What was once a multi-million-dollar surplus turned into a staggering deficit. Under her watch, Dalton's general fund balance, once comfortably in the black, now stands at a $3.65 million deficit, thanks largely to her reckless spending. Residents are furious, and rightfully so. They're demanding answers, and it seems they might finally get them as the feds close in on their embattled leader.
Those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around protecting.
If the rumors are true, the evidence against Henyard is damning. This isn't just about a few bad decisions or ethical lapses. It's about systemic abuse of power and a complete disregard for the rule of law. Henyard's attempts to cast herself as a victim fall flat when faced with the mountain of evidence against her. From lavish trips and blatant misuse of funds to turning the police into her private security force and attempting to launder money through her charity, the list of alleged misdeeds goes on and on.
Is there a motion to terminate Chief Freeman?
So, what's next for Tiffany Henyard? If Freeman's testimony is anything to go by, she might soon be facing the music in a very real way. Her once loyal allies are jumping ship, the feds are on her tail, and the public is out for blood. It's a dramatic fall from grace for a woman who once billed herself as the savior of Dolton. And as the walls close in, it's clear that Henyard's days of flaunting her impunity might be coming to an end. But in the world of politics, especially in Dolton, anything can happen. Will she somehow manage to pull off another Houdini act and escape unscathed? Or is this truly the beginning of the end for America's worst mayor? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, this saga is far from over. Fans haven't held back their opinions on Henyard's ongoing scandal, and the consensus seems pretty clear. Her days are numbered. One comment sums it up perfectly. She is going down this defense is too flimsy, and she has done too much. It's not just about her flimsy defense, it's the sheer number of scandals piling up. People are tired of her excuses and blame-shifting tactics. Another fan doesn't mince words either, saying, "The average person would realize it's over when they are arrested. It won't click with Henyard until she actually goes to prison." Unethical means nothing to this person. Her game is to skew everything. This comment captures the frustration many feel about Henyard's apparent lack of accountability and her constant attempts to manipulate the narrative. What do you think, folks? Will Tiffany Henyard finally face justice, or is she clever enough to wriggle out of this one too? Could Freeman's testimony be the key that brings her down, or will she find a way to shift the blame once again? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.